That was your earlier point. I said when I was going to steal from you, I'm going to turn away from you. And this is exactly why the divorce rate, is skyrocketing through 54% because of individualistic secularism that you are promoting beautifully. But you must be consistent with it because this idea of commitment is immaterial. And I am not a monogamous individual, especially from the evolutionary cycle. So why, especially if love and these kinds of things, if you bring about a negative emotion, where that you're being consistent, by the way, feelings based off of evolution, which I like, thank you for your consistency there. But if it's a negative emotion that's created from my interaction with her, and if we have been married for 10 years, well then ultimately, sorry, I'm living for happiness, my own personal happiness, so I can dump you anytime I want.
In this video, Stuart Knechtle engages in an intense discussion on Darwinian evolution and the implications it has for ethics and self-sacrifice. They challenge the idea that naturalistic evolution provides a sufficient foundation for moral values or meaningful altruism, arguing instead that the Christian worldview offers a stronger basis for self-sacrifice, purpose, and human dignity. Comment your thoughts down below. Now let's dive in.
Like you can see, in the modern ecosystem, evolution is broken down because of the effects of intelligence. Like human intelligence is just on a different scale than evolution. It affects people and systems in a way that evolution cannot handle for. Because evolution is built on long time scale randomness.
Yep.
And intelligence is so much better at manipulating short scale that it just outweighs long scale evolution on every metric.
Right.
But that's not an ascription or a refutation for the existence of evolution as an effect. And it's also not a statement that altruism can't create the world we live in. Altruism is very capable of creating the love between people that we see. You just use intelligence to extrapolate the love for the one you see. Like right now, I love you more than people who are very much more like me across the world. Like I have very much.
But what if I hate you? Why would you love me? If I want to come after you and dominate you like evolution clearly claims, the strong eating the weak, destroying, that's what Nietzsche said. That's why Nietzsche said, oh, you Christians, let's get rid of that type of slave morality. It's all about the powerful eating the weak. And that's why Hitler, that's why Hitler said, I'm going to adopt Nietzsche's ultimate philosophy for life, and I'm going to take the Jews, they're very different from our Aryan race, and I'm going to wipe them out. That's based off of your evolutionary theory. He was consistent. I think you're being terribly inconsistent. Sorry, not to offend you. I think there's some truth in what you're saying, but that is very inconsistent, my friend. And so you have to start to understand, why do I truly love others? I can get to the point of understanding, yes, be kind to others, especially your own tribe, and protect them, but you can be kind within your worldview. Sure, absolutely. You scratch my back, I'll scratch your back. That aligns with evolution. But if a student over there is crossing the street and they drop their backpack and come back and the car is speeding down the street and you jump in front of the car in order to push that student who you look nothing alike, you did not come from the same nation, and you do not have the same socioeconomic background, and you push that student out of the way and get run over by that car, from an evolutionary perspective, you sacrificing your life for that kind of person makes no sense. That's why the Christian faith changed the world. It turned it upside down because the Roman Empire was very consistent in their philosophy. Actually, they were before their time when it came to evolutionary theory. It was in line with that. And so they always said, oh, it's the powerful. You Christians, this dying savior, gross. You love your enemies. That was foreign to every single civilization. It was always about focus on your own tribe and dominate, dominate, dominate. Evolution is the same kind of thing. Do you have certainly within it forms of reciprocal altruism? Absolutely, we agree. But for you to just hop into, I love you, man. I love you. Where do you get that from evolution? How do you get that from evolution? Evolution does, just my last point, and then you go. Evolution does not connect. It cannot explain at all. Richard Dawkins himself has said this many a times, as well as Nietzsche, as well as all the great existentialists, so you're disagreeing with all of your top prophets, cannot touch meaning and purpose, the information and knowledge that we're sharing together, love, free will, all of the biggest questions in life, evolution cannot even come close to getting at. That's one of the reasons why I believe in God, because there's so much immaterial things that you and I share, more so than even focusing on the material things. And so from an evolutionary standpoint, there are endless amounts of holes.
Your first point
Yes.
was that if you were robbing me,
Yes.
how could I express love for you? If you were robbing me, I wouldn't express love for you. I would shut down, my emotions would turn off, and I'd run away.
Okay.
When someone's aggressive or angry towards you, you stop feeling love towards them because they're providing you with a negative experience.
Okay.
Human civilization, many of its biggest faults come from this, but human civilization, at its basis, is built out of building positive experiences for each other so that as a whole, our efforts can combine to a greater positive experience. Just the statement that some people create negative experiences for others does not refute the point that as a society, creating positive experiences for each other can build to a greater whole because our efforts can compound and make the world better for our children, who can make it better for their children.
Agreed.
So it is not a refutation of evolution to say, oh, some people are being nice to people who aren't like them. Or to say, oh, some people are being mean to other people. That's not a refutation.
Prove to me human rights from a scientific standpoint.
So human rights aren't scientific.
It's
Science
immaterial.
doesn't tell you what you
It's
should
immaterial.
do.
So how, from a scientific basis, do you get the immaterial human rights or this love that you're talking about? It's immaterial.
It's built out of the history of human civilization.
Can't prove love and why I should live for love.
Because it creates positive experiences.
Sure, yeah, agreed.
That's material.
But you can't get a pound of love, my friend. It's
I didn't
still
say
material.
You could. That's
No, but you're pushing evolutionary theory and science, and I'm just talking about, I agree. And I'm just saying, if there is no God, you have a lot of splaining to do. As in, like, a lot.
So you said without God,
Yes,
you can't explain love.
love is immaterial. Consciousness, immaterial.
So conscious.
You and I, information, you can't see the information you and I are sharing right now. It's immaterial. You just have to say, like Richard Dawkins says, oh, I hate the idea of free will. I'm a determinist because we live by our neurochemicals because there is no God. I hate this idea of free will, but I realize I have to pretend, he says, like it exists because I believe I have the capacity to decide whether to go to the loo in there and whether to go get a sandwich in about a half hour from now. I do not believe my neurochemicals are determining me to do that. So what does he say? Free will is an illusion that is not connected to evolution, but it's simply a byproduct. That's an illusion. It was an accident that came from evolution that we live by, but that we really don't have. And so this is my whole point to you. Free will, love, all these great concepts that make sense of life that we live by, it breaks in on you. And you start to say, if I'm just an evolutionist, if I'm an atheist, I've got a lot of beliefs that don't jive with experience.
A lot of the reason that love, experience, and knowledge can't be explained by evolution is because there's also a sociological buildup of traits called knowledge acquisition that is not evolutionary, but operates on evolutionary principles, and it is material. It is in the hyperstructure of your brain. Evolution can be explained as a survival mechanism wherein your brain decides what to do by habit, and then it uses a justification because it's a shortcut for negative and positive affecture towards experience memory. So experience, consciousness, the idea of the self, is a way of tagging experiences as positive or negative, as saying they happen to me instead of saying they happen.
Yep.
So consciousness,
Yep.
love,
Yep.
the reason for societal togetherness can be explained as knowledge acquisition
Yep.
across generations
Yep.
in complex civilizations.
Yep.
Just as religion
Yep.
can often, so I don't want to attack your religion.
No, you can. You're not attacking it. You
No, no.
disagree with it.
Okay,
That's not an attack. I don't buy into the politically correct culture of you disagree with me and that's an attack on my very soul.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's say Christianity. So Christianity, or I'm going, just because of the crowd, can I use a different religion?
Sure, go ahead, man.
Okay, so take Mormonism.
Okay.
It started as one person saying a set of rules and beliefs are a better way of operating.
Yes.
And then in the same way that consciousness pretends it has made a decision so as to get you to catalog it as a positive or a negative experience, Someone who creates a set of rules or actions for how to operate in a society creates a god or a set of
I
justifications.
agree with all that.
Okay,
But just back it up a little bit.
sure.
You didn't say anything I disagree with.
Okay.
But here's what I would add that you'll disagree with is consciousness, rationality, free will, truth, ethics, all of these are immaterial that started before the experiential.
But they
You
are
didn't just learn how to love. You didn't just learn your free will. You didn't just learn your consciousness. You didn't just pick up all these things through experience. I'm sorry, but that is a joke.
They are
That is a complete joke.
They can be found in the hyperstructure of the
Yes.
neurotic architecture.
No, they cannot. Consciousness cannot be. I love the last atheist who told me, yes, consciousness, it is physical. I realize I have to be consistent with my worldview, so I have to find a physical understanding of consciousness. So now what we can do is we can hook your brains up to different scans, and you can have a dream state, and your exact dreams about your mother making you a certain meal or a certain potential car accident you get in, we can actually write down every single word and every single action that occurred in your memory. And that's how we explain consciousness. Okay, that's a joke, but I love that he's being consistent at least.
How is that a joke?
How is that a joke? Because we have not come even close to doing that scientifically. For you to materially write down every single dream I have with every single little detail, that has not been done. And what atheists love to do is they love to make these tremendous leaps in the dark to say, I realize I can't explain consciousness. I can't explain things like memories. So we're going to find ways to somehow fabricate and push our type of worldview in a way where we're going to explain them. It's kind of like scientists right now who are atheists. They say, you know what? Yeah, we can create a cell. We can create a cell. No, you cannot. You have tried for 50 years now in a lab to create a cell. You cannot create a cell. You've come close to splitting a cell, but you cannot create a cell. It has not happened. It will never happen. You need a creator outside of a human being to create something like a cell. You did not come from primordial soup. There is no evidence for that. You can convince me of that, hopefully, if you want me to be an atheist, because you're really proselytizing a lot right now.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to try and convince you. I just enjoy the discussion.
Well, wait. I enjoy the discussion too, but if you have the truth...
I don't think I have the truth. I just have
Oh,
my...
you're arguing pretty eloquently right now for your position. I think you believe that you have some type of truth.
No.
No?
I don't believe that the human brain, the way the mind works, is it hallucinates a giant swath of the material, and it only picks up, like, lingually,
Yeah.
we're talking about ideas, but we're not, like, explaining the connotations of every word we use.
Uh-huh.
So you're filling in a lot of the meaning of what I say, and I'm just like if you think about it, there's a lot more information in what I'm saying than just
Yeah.
the words I'm saying, right?
Right.
And there's a lot more information in what you're giving me that I'm filling in by myself.
Yep.
From my own memories and from my own knowledge.
Uh-huh.
A lot of that fabricated knowledge is just fabricated.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of it's hallucination that's just trained for what will work in the situation.
So we're all hallucinating right now in different ways?
Oh, yeah, most of the human
All right,
experience.
everybody's hallucinating right now. You don't really know if we're here, and you're hearing voices. That's a hallucination.
Yeah. Yep.
So everybody's hallucinating and delusional right now.
Yes.
I don't understand why is not everybody on something like lithium or a pill to help your delusions and hallucinations?
Because
Shouldn't we all be on a pill?
It's normalized.
We should all be on a pill to help our hallucinations and delusions.
Because pills
We will
are
be
for
perfect human
abnormal
beings. We'll be perfect
experience.
minds. This is the whole thing with AI, artificial intelligence. Let's just better ourselves. And that's a typical type of brainwashing here on this campus, which is better yourself. That's the whole point of humanity. And take a pill, then your hallucinations and delusions will be solved so we can actually have a healthy conversation that makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense. Because what you're saying is we are filling in, misinterpreting, and there's so much more than we don't even realize when it comes to this conversation. Okay, fine. Take a pill, access a broader percentage of your brain, then we can have healthier communication.
So if you look at one leaf on a tree and you try and figure out all of the indents and maps and contours of that leaf,
Yep.
you can know the whole rest of that tree is there without looking at it.
Okay.
Your brain is filling in the knowledge without knowing it's there. Like, I know there's a tree over there because I experienced it earlier, but I'm not seeing it right now. So my brain is filling in the knowledge from memory, and it's like I don't remember every part of the tree. I don't even remember what color the tree is. But I remember the tree is there, and I can fill it in with the generic property of a tree.
Okay,
But
you're
I'm talking-
remembering, so that's immaterial.
No,
So
it's
as a materialist, your memory of that
it's
tree, how did you get that memory of the tree? How do you have that memory right now if you're a materialist?
I retrieved it by the firing of electrons through my neural architecture.
Yeah, that's part of it. But it's still immaterial. The memory is still immaterial.
No, it's material.
So
in
it's
the
part of it in
mental
the sense of,
architecture.
yes. See, this is love as well. You're onto it, man.
Okay.
Part of love is oxytocin, dopamine, the cuddle chemical. Yes, part of love. But are you going to go home, say you have a girlfriend or a mom, you go home and you just say, and maybe future wife, hey, honey, you know what? I found out what love is today because I'm an atheist. You know what love is? It's just my dopamine. It's just my neurochemicals that are telling me I love you at this point. But tomorrow they could be telling me something different. So I could commit adultery. I could cheat on you because love is just made up in the brain. And we know, based off of things like hallucinations, that your mind, that your brain, that your desires, it's all physical, it's all neurochemicals, can change at any point. And so why don't I go sleep around with as many women as possible, especially from an evolutionary standpoint, back to your point, because we're not made to be monogamous individuals. No, as a white male with a ton of testosterone, I desire to sleep around with as many women as possible. That's why open marriage right now is so seductive in our culture. No. Jesus Christ came and said, the reason why we have monogamy is to have a covenantal relationship, because God designed us for it. Secondly, in the Roman Empire, it was to protect women. The typical Roman male had complete authority over every single hole and orifice on a human woman. Yes, go ahead.
You didn't let me finish what I was saying. In remembering the tree is there,
Yeah.
I'm creating a connection. So the tree will still be there when I turn around.
Yeah.
And so I'm creating an internal validation loop
Right.
for the existence of the tree.
Right.
In the same way, love is the knowledge that even though I don't love my wife or my girlfriend right now, I am creating a long-term stability wherein I will experience positivity again in the future. And even better, I can give positivity to someone else.
Good.
So
until they offend you, until
No,
they
no,
do
no,
something
no,
wrong.
no.
No, that was your earlier point. Come
No.
on, be consistent. That was your earlier point. I
What?
said when I was going to steal from you, I'm going to turn away from you. And this
No,
is
you
exactly
said you
why
had
the
a knife.
divorce rate,
And
this is why the
knife-
divorce rate is skyrocketing through 54% because of individualistic secularism that you are promoting beautifully. But you must be consistent with it because this idea of commitment is immaterial. And I am not a monogamous individual, especially from the evolutionary cycle. So why, especially if love and these kinds of things, if you bring about a negative emotion, where that you're being consistent, by the way, feelings based off of evolution, which I like, thank you for your consistency there. But if it's a negative emotion that's created from my interaction with her, and if we have been married for 10 years, well then ultimately, sorry, I'm living for happiness, my own personal happiness, so I can dump you anytime I want.